my professional journey of taking people forward on their health journey, getting them out of sick care, getting them into wellness transformational care. I am so excited that people are listening and people are changing and people are waking up to the truth that it's your life, your health, your choice. And I want you to grab hold of this nugget of truth. If you start to realize that each and every day is a gift, and if you start realizing that it's your choice to steward that gift, and with the right education, the right information, you can live your best life. You can live strong, you can live mentally well, you can live restfully, peacefully, joyfully, in a good headspace all the day long if you don't have symptom patterns. If you're not suffering with allergies. Nobody likes to be around somebody that's sneezing, hacking, and sniffling all the time. Nobody wants to be looking, no offense, okay? The great Jim Rohn always said, they're gonna take a look, people judge, but they don't wanna see your acne. They don't wanna see your symptoms exuding out of your body through body odor and bad breath. And I see all these memes online. You got bad breath, that means you've got a bad gut, you got bad skin, you got a bad liver. And what happens is we feel judgment, we feel shame. We don't want to go, and we have to like kind of buffer who we really are because of how we look. It shouldn't be that way. And I totally agree. It should not be that way. But one of my good friends, Kyle, always said is people will always people, and they'll always shock you, and they'll always tell you things that you just weren't expecting. So why not choose a better path? I was just having this discussion the other day, and we were just talking to a patient about why they just sabotage themselves. A lot of people will get started, but they don't finish. And I'll always tell you, you're gonna be in a better place if you restart every day, or if you restart every week than not starting at all. So that's true. You'll love every workout that you start. Even if you don't finish it, you'll start it and it'll get you point A to point B faster than never starting at all. Because if you never start, you'll never get there, period, in discussion. But if you start working towards it, even with some mishaps along the road, guess what? That's just a pothole, man. It doesn't stop you. A little inconvenient, especially if it is a big pothole. However, you gotta remember, get back up again, do it again, work on it, continue onward, upward, goodward, and Godward. And when you do that, you will start to realize that your life is in your hands and you can live your best, be your best, stay your best all the day long if you just get some good education. That will sharpen the axe. So the great Abraham Lincoln, some of you guys know who he is, he said that if he was in an axe chopping contest, that he would spend the first 80% of his time to sharpen his axe. Then he would go to chopping. Interesting, right? I had some lawn guys do some sprinkler work for me before, and I watched them literally take a grinder and sharpen their sharpshooters, their shovels. I was like, that's genius. Cuts through much easier when you do some sharpening. How often do we take the time to sharpen our tools? How often do we realize that we need to sharpen our minds? And that's what the Dark Chapa Wellness Show is all about. So first, I just want to say thank you. I'm excited you're tuned in. I am dialed up and ready to rock and roll. And tonight, I got a message for you. I got a message that's going to change the way you think about your health, wellness goals moving forward into tomorrow, into next week, into next month, and finishing out the year. Can you believe we are already into the second quarter of the year? And this is just the way life goes, right? I mean, it is always moving forward. And so we are going to talk about energy. We're going to talk about eating for energy, not for exhaustion. Your food is your fuel. So your food by definition should give you energy, vitality, longevity. If you're tired all the time, you have to question some things. Is there something broken in your organ systems, or is there something that you're lacking in your fuel inputs? And so eating for energy is looking to fuel your body in a way that creates vibrancy and creates vitality and creates energy, longevity, restfulness, peacefulness of the mind. People don't realize that what they eat dictates their mood. Yes, you get that dopamine hit when you eat the chocolate, right? Except that you crash afterwards. You love the ice cream, but now you're bloated, gassy, and you get allergies, or you get earaches all the time. And these are all things that you can control. When we eat for pleasure, oftentimes that is eating for exhaustion. Meal timing is important. Macro balances are important. We want to talk about all these aspects of how we can take you forward. So going into tonight's talk, I just want to dive in and help you recognize and understand that your food should fuel your mission, not sabotage your day. So here, without further ado, share this message with somebody that needs it, because if somebody's tired all the time, or if you see them sleeping after they get back from lunch, you know they need this message. If you need coffee after meals, if you have a napping issue during the day and you can't afford to do that, crashing at 2 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon is a sign that you're not eating good fuel, you're eating for potential pleasure, you're getting blood sugar spikes and your system's crashing on you. If you feel foggy after lunch, feel foggy in the morning, if you can't survive the night, if you get hangry, if you miss a meal, heaven forbid, these are indications that your body is unstable. You're not lazy, you're just unstable in fuel delivery. And that is something on the biochemical modulation side, but it could also be something on the vibrancy side, that you're putting in fresh, vibrant foods, real foods, versus fake foods, sometimes foods, or never foods. How many times that people get into food crisis because they're eating the wrong food? So interestingly, your energy isn't just calories. I had this guy tell me one time that a calorie is a calorie, he says. And he was a real know-it-all, and I just was like, had to pat him on the head and say, you're right. You can't convince people that a Snickers bar is better than a steak. I mean, it's logical that a steak would be better. It's logical that something that's not chocked with sugar or empty calories and liquid would be worse for you in the long run. So, at the end of the day, I really take a step back when I'm working on patients, and I have to educate them to see that a calorie is not just a calorie. If you eat fake food, things that sabotage your blood sugar, spike your blood sugar to the moon, you're going to have inflammation, you're going to have disease processes building, brewing, and over time will throw you out of rhythm and balance. This is a huge thing. So if you eat real foods, one of the easiest things you can do each and every day, and you could stop the message right here, is get off sugar forever. Okay, that'd be anything that says fructose, anything that is high fructose corn syrup, anything that's dextrose, anything that is white sugar. If you get off of all these things, your body will thrive, I promise you. If you then put something with a face, a mother or a father, meats, chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, beef, lamb, shrimp, all these types of things. If you eat real food, things that don't have a label, vegetables, for example, limit the fruit content, you would literally see your blood sugar come into stability, insulin response is better, and mitochondrial function improve, and hormonal rhythm balance out. You might say to yourself, blood sugar stability, man, I've been dealing with diabetes for a long time. You're telling me that I can just change my opinion of how certain foods affect my body? Yes, it's in your power. You do not need metformin. You do not need insulin shots. I understand. Many of you are out of control, and your insulin is out of control, and your inflammation is through the roof, and you are worried about cardiovascular disease. Yeah, cardiovascular disease does kill over 800,000 people per year. That is a big deal. I want to, and did, get into practice to stop this monstrosity. It's very much in your power, in your wheelhouse, in your control to stop. And so one of the things we have to do is start recognizing that what we eat is important, but what we don't eat is more important. So by avoiding the fake food, processed food, junk foods, sugar stimulating foods, you will live a better life, 100%. This is just simple, easy. I had a doctor tell their patient yesterday, and guys, some of these docs, I had one patient chew me out because I had an opinion about the current medical system, and he was like, well, you can't say that, how dare you? And I'm like, really, dude? This is the story I hear all the time. A doctor tells her patient that they don't need to run insulin because we live in a clean culture with a healthy diet. What? Autoimmunity is through the roof. Infectious processes are through the roof. Pain management is through the roof. Cardiovascular disease still leads the charge in death rate and death toll in the country. The American Heart Association's been around for 100 years and can't figure out how to get out of first place in death toll. So if you want to follow the American Heart Association program, you can, but it will lead to inflammation, disease processes. It will not serve you in the long run, period. They've proved it. This isn't like me being mean. This is just facts. I don't know how you can lead the death charge and still be number one in being in business for over 101 years. As of 2025, 100 years, okay? And here we are, 2026. Understand, I am opinionated because I've seen 21 years of work in practice, plus my own journey before that, and other patient bodies and other practices across the country. And we sit and we talk about this stuff, and it's as simple as, man, if I could just get you off sugar, your life would be better. It's that simple. And now you go, well, but how? How do I do that? Well, that's where we get into mitochondrial function. We boost up energy output, ATP production, inflammation reduction, and then that stabilizes the hormones so that when I ask the body to balance itself out hormonally, or I ask the metabolism to boost up hormonally through the thyroid, guess what? It does it. It drops into fifth gear. Bam! Nitrous goes forward without rocket fuel. Isn't that cool? And so I get excited about what is possible through food, through wellness, through transformational Dr. Chapa wellness medicines. And we can teach people how to live better, be better, stay better through life management. Life management, it's not that hard. The blood sugar roller coaster. White carbs crash you every which way to Sunday. We and one of my patients yesterday were talking, we grew up on Pop-Tarts. We weren't living in the same home. We weren't even living in the same city. We didn't even know each other. But she grew up on Pop-Tarts. She grew up on sugary cereals. She grew up on shredded wheat. She grew up on Lucky Charms. She grew up on Tony the Tiger's, whatever he sells. This is a blood sugar crisis. Blood sugar spiking diets cause your blood sugar to shoot up. Grandma's right, you gotta eat breakfast, but what do you eat for breakfast? Do you eat garbage? Do you eat whipped cream and strawberry shortcake? Yeah, a lot of people do. And that's what's creating the crash. And that spike of crashing and spiking and crashing all throughout the day is creating what? A troublesome disaster. We got to stop this process. And then you throw caffeine on top of that, and you haven't given your adrenal glands time to regulate themselves, and you're already controlling your body with herbs from stimulants, not just all herbs. I take a bunch of herbs in the morning too, but a lot of times for bug killing, inflammation reduction, blood sugar setup for good success throughout the day. So I'm not against herbs in the morning, but definitely not eating a bowl of sugar, right? I mean, that's nuts. I'm not interested in just sucking down a bunch of caffeine first thing in the morning. I want to see my body perform without that so that I know that when I indulge from time to time, my body's not going to go haywire for 3 or 4 days. And that's exactly what's happening. We see this repeated cycle that causes brain fog, mood swings, sugar cravings, fat storage. Nobody wants to gain weight. Nobody wants to crave. Somebody came in yesterday, but I'm craving. You can't take me off Gymnema. Listen, if you're still craving Gymnema after 2-3 months, then you might still be eating too many foods throughout your day that are inflammatory. Remember, what you eat is important, but what you don't eat is what? Say it in the comments. Put more important. What you don't eat is more important. So I really want you to grab hold of that. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 macro nutrients, because micro are like nutrients like zinc and minerals and vitamins like vitamin C, vitamin D, essential fats, okay? When we look at macronutrients, we're looking at proteins, healthy fat content, and carbohydrates. So I always like to start with protein because there's this thing called essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are from protein. You eat a piece of steak, it turns into an amino acid. Your body then formulates that into what it needs, and it restores the tissue, stimulates the body to repair, regrow, and activate in certain potential areas like isoleucine or leucine or valine or citrate. All these things drive mitochondrial function, muscle rehab, etc. Protein. There is an essential amino acid. Stabilizes blood sugar. It's like a log on the metabolic fire. It helps to create a space for your body to thrive throughout the day. That is a good plan, in my humble opinion. Healthy fats, butter, lard, that's from pork, tallow from beef, or avocado oil, coconut oil, one of these good quality fats that stabilize your blood sugar. Did you know fats have 0 impact on insulin? Zilcho, 0. Did you know? Healthy fats, there is a such thing as essential fatty acids. You need essential fatty acids to stabilize the brain, to upregulate your hormones, to stabilize inflammation in the cells, to activate cell-to-cell communication. Essential fats are great. Healthy fats in your diet are great, and they taste good too. Who doesn't love a little bacon? Who doesn't love some butter? And who doesn't love eating clean, knowing that these are the things we should be consuming? I had a guy go, he started to ask a question, and he told me he was eating margarine. I said, stop, you're eating plastic. And he goes, oh, you answered my question. Well, he's got neurodegeneration issues, OCD types tendencies, and the fats were clogging up his liver, backing up into his blood flow. And guess what? It was circulating around in his blood, contaminating the brain, making him go into regular OCD flares. When we get him on a clean diet, guess what's going to happen? That inflammation is going to go away. His brain's going to function well. He's going to feel amazing. And then we get into carbs. Quality carbs, right? You go, well, what do you call quality carbs? I'm not talking about the quick usable carbs. I'm talking about these sustainable carbs like from vegetables and whatnot. And again, vegetables 2 to 1 fruit, because you do get fruit sugar. But if you overindulge in fruit, you're stressing your liver also. There's this thing called non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome. And so when you see this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it means that you could be a non-alcoholic person and still have fatty liver. That means your liver is dysfunctional. It means 1,700 pathways are not happening day in and day out for you. That's a problem. And if it's 70% active, that's a problem. You want 95% function in that liver all the time. Okay, so this is huge. And I want to really grab hold of this message for you guys. If you're eating white sugar, if you're eating carbohydrates from cookies, candies, cakes, ice creams, if you're getting it from straight up liquid sugar calories, you're going to not get quality carbs, and they're going to wreck your system. But guess what? There's no such thing as a essential carbohydrate. So therefore, if you overindulge in carbohydrates, which all of you do, I want to, but I'm very focused on not doing that. This is where we have to eat with intention and regulate our consumption. Nowhere in societal history have we had so much access to calories. In this case, macronutrients. You don't need 3,000 calories a day, most of you. Most of you can get away with a meal or two a day and eat really clean and not get into these excess useless carbohydrate calories, and your body will thrive and de-inflame on its own, and you would sleep great, your system would work great. Awesome sauce. That's what we're all after. Balance determines focus. So why is this so hard to figure out? Well, good marketing. You know, people have rushed society so much that we skip breakfast more often than not. So now we have mid-morning crashes. We have sugar cravings all the day long. We have low motivation, and so by the time the night rolls around, we're not preparing for tomorrow. You know, people never plan to fail. They just what? Fail. Go ahead and say it. To plan. And so no one wants to fail. We don't want you to feel like a failure. We want you to feel empowered. We want you to feel excited. We want you to feel ready to tackle the day. We want you to have stable blood sugar, because we know that's going to stabilize your mood and help you feel well day in and day out. Start your day right, and you'll end it right. I've said this for years. If you have 25 to 40 grams of protein, healthy fats, and fiber in your morning routine, that's a great plan. If you wait until noon to have the same style calorie intake, that's a great plan. So I really just want you to understand that protein is your friend. Anchor your body with healthy protein in the morning. Start your day right to end it right. Mealtime matters. So we just kind of talked about that. Skipping breakfast isn't the end of the world, but it is a common mistake that many of us are making day in and day out, because then we start our day at noon after our system's been a little bit stressed with sugar. Well, anytime your first meal of the day, any breaking of a fast that you're doing. So if you skip breakfast, you skip mid-morning, and then you have lunch, and then you start with a sandwich, or you have potato, or you have carbohydrates excessive like sushi, guess what? You're crashing your system. If you skip breakfast and your first meal of the day was protein, like on our last slide, then that's okay. You could absolutely skip breakfast, train your body to eat on an intermittent fasting zone, and I would totally get behind that, especially if you already have symptom patterns that you were not genetically born with. So this is an easy way to start your day right with food, protein, or skip the breakfast and eat protein at lunch. So skipping breakfast is a common mistake because most people indulge in the sugar later in the day, which their blood sugar goes from low to high, and they can't regulate it. So if you have symptom patterns, skipping breakfast isn't the end of the world, but understand you would do better if you already are suffering with disease processes like thyroid, or disease processes like digestion, disease processes like brain fog, or oftentimes fatigue, and you're not sleeping good. You should start eating protein only, like on the last slide, for breakfast every day. Eating large carb heavy lunches, just talked about it, man. If you're crashing after lunch, it's either calorie overload or carb overload. If you overindulge in carbs, you are essentially overloading in calories. If you eat too much, even good food, you can crash your system. Remember, eat like a king, queen for breakfast, a prince or a princess for lunch, and a pauper for dinner. So you don't want to go crazy at that lunch hour. Grazing all day, that is not necessarily the best plan. I used to think that the 3 times a day and snacks in between was a great idea, but I realized that's not how the body was designed, and nowhere in societal history did we eat like that. We ate when we found food, and then we kept going, and we allowed our body to have 5 hormones to stabilize our blood sugar in order to keep us going sustained all the day long. But late night overeating is probably the number one mistake that people make. Between grazing all day and late night eating, we are spiking our blood sugar all day long and stressing our biochemistry. And then at nighttime, we are more alert when we should be going into a sedative state. And then our houses are lit up like Fort Knox. Then we've got our scrolling cell phones in our hands and we're watching TV late, and we are not setting ourselves up for a good night recovery in the sleep period cycle. So that rhythm at nighttime has to be regulated. So my word of the year is rhythm. So cortisol rhythm is a big deal. Insulin rhythm is a big deal. Mental rhythms throughout the day is a big deal. God gave me this word and I've been focusing on it, the circadian rhythm, the day-to-day, the moon rhythm, the week-to-week, month-to-month rhythm. Seeing how our body is rhythmatically patterned. If we get in alignment with the patterns, our body will thrive better. So I'm my best in the morning. So I typically like to shoot videos and do like hard mental work early in the day, and I get my workout done early in the day. Why? Because I'm controlling how cortisol works when it's highest. I'm a type A personality, very high strung, got a lot on my plate. And so cortisol rhythm in the morning is my game. Insulin sensitivity. Well, I don't have that so much. My insulin's great. And that's because I'm not putting in a bunch of sugary, carbohydrate laced stimulants into my day, which that serves me, serves my patients well, and hopefully serves my family well. And I can go through the day in a healthy mental state, even if I am a little down. Like for example, this last fasting cycle that I did a 72-hour fast, and I'll be honest with you, it was hard. It was the hardest one I've done all year. And once a month, 3 days in a row, I'll do a straight up fast and rest my digestion for 3 days. I do take my vitamins, I do drink water, I do still have a little bit of tea and caffeine and stuff like that. But in general, there's no hard calories coming in. I'm forcing the body to go into that state of autophagy. There's no sugar, there's no fats, there's no protein to digest. And so my body can focus on rhythmatically resting. And that's a good practice. Your digestion is the most violent sport on the planet. Isn't that cool? Like you take a hamburger and turn it into nutrients. Well, I want to also give my digestion an opportunity to cleanse itself, clean itself, get itself ready for the next month. And so this is something I've been practicing just since last July. And so I've been doing it almost a year, and it's been fascinating to see how the body responds, and not every one of them has been the same. So once a week I fast, 3 times a month I fast, a total of about 6 days. Now, if you just did one fasting day a week, that would be okay. And so when people make this mistake of looking at blood sugar, they start to recognize that skipping a meal is not necessarily fasting. What I'm talking about in skipping breakfast is people are irregular in the rhythm and pattern. And that's what I'm trying to get people to recognize, is to find a rhythm, find a pattern, get in a groove, and learn to stay in that. You are a very patterned creature, and that will help you on your journey to live better, be better, and stay better. Meal timing matters, okay? So how to build an energy plate: protein, healthy fats, fiber from veggies, smart carbs, that means limited, or timing, when to put the carbs in. I typically put the carbs in later in the day. So for example, let's say from 4 to 6 or 4 to 7 is when you put your carbs in. So let's say 7 o'clock is when you ate, and then you go back around the clock, almost say 6 the next day. That's a 23-hour carb fast. And so yeah, you might have gotten some vegetables at lunch, but you're not getting these high spike carbohydrates. So you're forcing your body to leverage hormones that stabilize 5 to 1 to insulin. Insulin, there's only one that brings your blood sugar down. There's 5 that bring your blood sugar up. So why do we eat so many carbohydrates and spike our blood sugar? Why do we get into so much fake sugar and spike our blood sugar? Because we're miseducated and we are reaching for the wrong fuel sources, because we're looking for convenient foods, comfort foods, stimulatory foods, because we're worn out, exhausted, and we're stressed. This is primarily what happens. And then when that happens, your energy endocrine axis gets weak. When your energy endocrine axis gets weak, that's your adrenal glands, thyroid, pituitary, your output vitality goes down. So everything that we're trying to do with these plate building routines is how to build a blood sugar stability plan that regulates your insulin, regulates your blood sugar, your cortisol, so that you don't get spikes through the night and now you're wrecking sleep, or you don't have exuberantly high cortisol all the day long and your body's now on fire and inflamed. When you control your food, you control your health. Food is medicine. It's going to be that way forever. And if you have a symptom pattern that you are not genetically born with, you can reverse it. What you can develop, guys, you can undevelop. And that is an important truth you've got to get in your database. So coffee is not energy. It just blocks fatigue signals. It stimulates stress hormones, makes underlying it masks underlying instability in your body. So if you are a coffee hound, make sure that you understand you better be supporting your cellular health. You better get your blood sugar balanced. You better learn to drink it black. You better make sure that you're taking in proper calories through proper macros. This is stuff that we can do. Go to drchapawellness.com, go to justlivewell.com. Let us teach you, get an appointment. We will coach you. We have a team of people that will help you navigate this stuff. And so this is the journey. Caffeine should be an enhancement, not a artificial stimulant. And that's what it is for a lot of people. Signs you're eating for exhaustion. If you crash after meals, if you need sugar at night, if you feel wired and tired all the day long, if you wake up anxious, if you wake up staring at the ceiling wondering why, and you can't figure out your world, if you wake up unrefreshed in the morning, feel anxious when you're not hungry, guess what? This is all an indication that you have to regulate your blood sugar. You have signs of food exhaustion. That's what we're trying to fix. Food timing affects your focus, and when you think well, move well, when you eat well, you'll perform well. Who doesn't want that? Sign me up. And so we oftentimes go into a simple daily energy blueprint in our programs. With morning, we eat high protein, moderate fats, moderate carbs, and we try to keep a realistic finger, if you will, on diet. But a lot of people are so out of balance and so stressed. If you don't regulate the programs of stress management that we offer, then a lot of times you're on what we call, the ups and downs diet. Your blood sugar's up, your blood sugar's down, you're trying to regulate it with sugar, and we don't want you on the WAG method. You know what the WAG method is, right? That's the wild ass guess. We don't want you guessing what to eat. We want you planning what you eat. And midday balance, avoid heavy refined carbs is a plan of attack. Evening, lighter carbs, don't overeat late. Never, when the sun goes down, you should just shut it down. That is a good plan also. So, eat right in the morning. If you start your day right, you'll end it right. If you don't eat late at night, you'll go to bed and sleep better because you won't have all that blood and digestion happening in your digestive tract, and your system will perform better. So understand that just those two ideas, like we mentioned earlier, no carbs really for breakfast. Mid-morning, if you need it, fine. We put a protein shake in to get your body stable, but we have plans and programs to regulate that. But many people don't realize it. Sometimes it's even beyond that. Maybe you have an insult, a bug insult. So we talked about organ dysfunction. The system is not running properly. We talked about micro and macronutrients deficiencies, but it could be bug. Also, you could be attacked by yeast that's eating up all your bees. You could be attacked by parasites that's causing your body to be more inflamed and causing you to crave certain foods because they love sugar. And so you have to recognize there's always more to the story. So it's really difficult to teach people in a one-to-many setting and not know exactly your story. But that's okay, because if you apply the principles and you be intentional with your eating patterns, then guess what? You'll thrive. You always will. You always will. You always will. And food is fuel. Food is medicine. Food will impact your mood, your productivity, your hormones, your leadership, your spiritual clarity. You cannot build powerful lives on unstable blood sugar. And every one of us wants to be more stable, more healthy, more vibrant all the day long. It is simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. So eating real foods versus make-believe foods is the plan. But avoiding make-believe foods could be, and oftentimes is, more important than what you actually eat, because what you eat is important. Protein for breakfast, macros, etc., getting all that balanced out. But many of you guys are drinking alcohol. Many of you guys are living on sugary drinks. Many of you guys are reaching for comfort carbs all the day long. Some of you guys are carbitarians, all you eat, or fruitarians, all you eat. And guess what? I had this little boy come in and he was eating, I think think it was like 7 or 8 Go Squeeze, pouches a day. That's a truckload of liver stress, a truckload of blood sugar management. No wonder he was diagnosed with ADD. No wonder he was ODD, oppositional defiant disease disorder or whatever. Guys, we don't need another label. We need new educations. And in fact, we don't need foods with labels. We need to start eating real food that doesn't have a label. So just because it says on the label, apples, it doesn't mean that that is what we should be consuming, because how many apples will a person really eat in a day? I know, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? Well, I had this one guy go, well, I'm gonna eat 5 apples in. I mean, keep everybody away. Okay, well, that's not exactly how it works either, but there's a time and a place, I get it. If you're doing a gallbladder flush or one of my liver flushes, that could be a plan we approach and use, but there's a reason for that and it's short-lived. But you don't need to be consuming all that fruit. You don't need to be consuming all those carbs. You don't need to be consuming fake fuels. You need to be looking for real, sustainable, life-giving, nutrient-rich food sources. And your mood will be better, your productivity will be better, your hormones will be better, and of course, your families will be more blessed by you because you'll be more present spiritually, emotionally, physically, and then your job and business will be better. So again, if you like this type of information, if you want to understand more to why you crash, how to reverse insulin, how to restore cellular health, join our master's class. Get your phone out and boom, click on that link. Let's get after it and let's learn together, grow together, and live well together all the day long. Guys, I love teaching. I love sharing. I love helping people build plans that work. And so these are my socials. You can follow us on all these different platforms. You can get tied into our email newsletter distribution list. We will not spam you. We just want to educate you. We want you to live your best, perform your best all day, every day. I love this work and I've been doing it for a long time, and I've seen a lot of success in a lot of areas where people have suffered needlessly. Now they're getting help and answers to why their body's breaking down and what they can actually do to fix it. So share this message with your friends, family, and loved ones. I love you guys. I'm excited to be here with you. I believe in you. I know you can live your best every day, but you have to take the bull by the horns. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit that link that was just up. I'll go back and join our master's class, and you will not regret it. You're in for a treat. It's a lot of fun, and it's to learn and grow, and we are in a society where you have to take the bull by the horns. So see ya on the next video episode of the Dr. Chapa Wellness Show. Every Monday night, 7 p.m., guys. I'm here for you. Check you on the flip side.